Welcome to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with the stars of our program, one of the great stars of the Los Angeles Rams, one of the great quarterbacks of all time, Mr. Vince Ferragamo. Ladies and gentlemen, the crowd is going nuts in the background. Hall of Fame, four-time NFC Offensive Lineman of the Year, Jackie Slater. Jackie, you played with the Rams your entire career, correct?
Absolutely.
You, Vince, traveled a little bit. You went to Green Bay?
I went to Canada one year as well.
Canada, Green Bay,
Montreal,
Buffalo.
Green Bay, Buffalo.
He went looking for the money.
Very.
Hey, we didn't have free agency back in those days,
If
bro,
he
so
doesn't-
I was one of the first one to start it for the entire league. So we got
His
going.
leaving cost me a Super Bowl.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's a story
It
for
wasn't
today's
only
show.
me. Everybody
It was
left.
you. It was you, my friend.
Well,
All right, we'll
after
find
the
out
year,
about
we
that.
had all those defections. Remember, everybody left.
Big controversy when Vince joined the team. There was Pat Hayden, Vince Ferragamo. The media was going nuts. The fans were going crazy. We want Vince. Pat Hayden was there. Vince was taller. Vince, you finally won out, and then the Rams did go to the Super Bowl. Let me tell you, that was very good.
was a great year.
And Jackie, you were always right there, consistent every single day. Hall of Famer. That's the man right there, I'll tell you. Now, our show here, we want to mention, go to our website, onpoint.net, onpointlive.net. That's if you want to check us out on the website. The YouTube channel, you can subscribe to our YouTube, and it's up there every time, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Search it. I did it. I got my account on YouTube. You go there, you hit On Point, and there they are. They're talking away for you. Instagram, on.point.live for you. Our sponsors, the incredible people at harmonycheese.com. You can order cheese today and have it at your door tonight. And they're sending us some new cheese, Jackie.
Absolutely.
And Vince. It's going to be good stuff.
And make sure you don't get all the abrigelli.
Yeah, because that is
Save
Jackie's
me the
personal
Parmesan,
favorite.
would you?
And Vince,
Save
you
me
stay
that
away from
Parmesan
that.
cheese.
And don't you try to
Great
get all
and
the
spaghetti.
Gouda.
And email us at onpoint@crntalk.com. Our producer, Corey Marino. Corey, are we giving away still some Harmony cheese if they want to enter? So here's the deal. Email us at that website, at that email address, onpoint@crntalk.com. Give us your name, your address. We'll enter you in the contest to win some Harmony cheese, a Harmony cheese pack. And check out Harmony cheese. See what you're going to get at Harmony, HARMONY, harmonycheese.com. All right, we got a lot to talk about on the show today. NCAA, right? We got NBA going, guys, going
NBA.
crazy. Maybe some football news, maybe even some baseball, and possibly some hockey information you guys may share. So that's our show for you here today. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember to stay on point. Oh, no, we got more to come up here for you. Harmony Cheese bringing you these great guys. So stay with us here on CRN Digital Talk Radio, On Point Live. Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo. We'll be right back. Welcome back to On Point Live. Michael Horn along with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. Gentlemen, I'm telling you, what the NCAA playoffs are over with basketball style, and what a couple of games there, both for the women and the men. Start with you, Vince. What are your thoughts here? That was quite a game. Let's go with the men's first, because I can't believe the things that happened in that game.
Well, it was a great tournament. It was a great weekend of college basketball. Obviously, congratulations to the UConn women's team with Gino Auriemma winning another championship, 12th championship in 30 years is unbelievable, winning as coach in NCAA history. But, congratulations all to the Florida Gators. And, a lot of the credit has to go to their wonderful staff, the way they played together. And when you win championships like that, you have to play together as a team. You make everyone else better, and you win in crucial moments. And this guy, Walter Clayton Jr., was unbelievable. At one point, he was hitting 90% of his shots. When I saw him, and I watched the whole game, but when I was watching, he never missed a shot. And when you do that, it's hard to beat a team like that when you have a player like that that's that good. But credit goes to Houston too. They played right to the end. They beat the team that I thought was going to win it all in Duke, and Cooper Flagg and that team. And that team was leading 13 points with 8 minutes to go, or 14 points with 8 minutes to go in the game, Jackie.
Yeah.
And they could not keep that winning percentage going.
Houston led or tied for 38 minutes, 56 seconds, if you want to know the numbers. And Florida led the game for 1 minute, 4 seconds. Jackie, what the heck went on there? Florida's the only led for 1 minute and 4 seconds. It came at the end of the game. That's the good news, correct?
We're talking about the hot shot shooter that averaged 30 points the previous 2 games. And he comes and he plays against Houston, and he had 1 point, Vince, throughout the whole first half of the game.
So what did the coach do?
The coach was fantastic. He took him out of the ballgame, out of the lineup, put him on the bench, let him watch, let him settle down. Then he put him back in the game, and he made some very critical shots, some key baskets, and kind of got back to himself. I was really, really impressed with the Houston team, however. I thought they played defense. They were sticky all game long. Early in the ballgame, they missed a lot of shots. They didn't do well shooting the basketball from anywhere outside the perimeter. They didn't work the ball in the paint and get points.
But they were competitive.
They were very competitive.
They were only down by 1 point.
Both these teams were
tied.
Both these teams were defensive-oriented teams.
Yeah.
That's what got them there. Houston was number 1 overall. But the thing was, they just didn't have the shot makers, and that was the difference. They didn't have the offensive shot makers. I want to jump back just a little bit and think about, when Juju Watkins went down, I said, okay, well, SC is done, and then basically that was the case. And I'm thinking, okay, well, here goes UCLA, and they've got Lauren Betts. She's 6'7", and you think, okay, this young lady's going to dominate the tournament. But what happened, man? Ariema, he had a 6'2" freshman, Sarah Strong. He matched. I mean, she just banged her around, beat her up, just the way. I mean, this is the way I imagine
physical.
With West Ansel and some of the old time, big time.
Bill Russell,
some of those old bangers.
Shaq.
From the old days.
Yeah.
I mean, she was very physical. I was very impressed with that young lady, the way she handled a girl who was much, much taller than her. Yeah. It was an outstanding playoff series, both men and women, and I think there's a lot to be said about women's professional basketball and the skill set that these young ladies are bringing to professional basketball now.
You talk about old bangers. We got a couple of them right here with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. You guys have watched a lot, so when you analyze, you've got some time behind you. Vince, your thoughts on the
I know. My daughter played basketball, and she went to Vanderbilt, and it just got me to be very enthused about women's basketball, and it grew and grew and grew, and now look what it's at. It's at a premium now. But Jackie mentioned good points about coaching. Sampson, who was coaching Houston, the Cougars, they played so well down the stretch, and the calmness of this coach and the confidence he gave his team, and his team wanted to win. Not only for themselves, they could care less. They wanted to win for the coach.
He did.
And that coach, any coach that you look at, and we look at some of the best, Gino Auriemma, you look at John Wooden, Woody Hayes, just go back through the history of great coaches, what they've meant to players that leave the game and go on to become productive citizens and be very productive in life.
Have a lot of success.
They have success, and they give so much credit to the guys that molded them. And they learn from them. And, great coaches, Mike, first are great teachers.
Yeah, well,
and I think that's what we've seen in this.
To add to that, we were talking before the show that what makes a great coach, is it your record, your wins, your championships, or do you have to bring in the players that you brought in? You look at a Rod Dato and all the players that went up to the major leagues from his baseball coaching. I mean, it's a mix of all that in college.
Right.
You got to be thinking about your teaching and your developing as well as trying to win championships.
Right, and a lot of people want to hang the greatest of all time on some of these coaches based on the fact that they've won so many national championships, so many conference championships, and they've been in the playoffs so many times. Yeah, that is important. But there are other elements, in my opinion. I look at some of my coaches that I had, and the guys didn't win a lot of championships here and there, but they did a great job of teaching life lessons to the young men that they were coaching and the young women they were coaching. And these guys went on, many of them, to the next level and had successful college careers out of high school and had successful pro careers out of college. So I think when you start talking about the greatest of all times when it comes to coaching in any sport, you have to consider the long-term effects that their coaching has had on their players.
And all these coaches have a policy in place, and there's no way of getting around it. You have to comply with what their standards are.
Abide by the rules.
And you look at a culture they build. Okay, John Wooden did it at UCLA. For 12 seasons, he won 10 NCAA championships. If he would coach 30 years like Gino Auriemma, he would have 25 championships. Yeah. Anyway, they develop it.
That's
they're
before
great
we started
teachers.
even talking about guys like Eddie Robinson at Grambling. You got Bob Hill at Grambling. A lot of great coaches.
And some of the coaches today, Jackie, have taken the lead. The great coaches will take the lead from some of these great coaches of the past. You look at Glenn at New York Jets right now. What he's building a culture. He said, okay, Aaron Rodgers, you can go somewhere else. He wants the biggest, the fastest, the strongest, the quickest guys. And that's his culture. That's what he's building. And you know what? They haven't been in the playoffs in, 15, 20 years? I think that's a team that you have to establish that first and then get the players to compliment you.
Jackie.
First of all, let me say. First of all, Bob Hill was at Jackson State, and they cleared that up. He coached Walter Payton and Robert Brazile, just going back. But I mean, when you start talking about, developing an NFL roster or perhaps any other roster, in football in particular, there are certain positions that you have to have the biggest, the strongest, and the fastest. But then there are certain positions where you have to have guys who've proven that they can think on their feet, that they can make quick decisions just like the coach expects them to, just like the coach would. And that's what I have seen in my experiences in pro sport is that there were guys that I played with that did not fit the physical bill. They weren't quick enough, I didn't think. They weren't fast enough, I didn't think. And they weren't strong enough, I didn't think. But the coach loved these guys and put them in positions where they can make great decisions all the time. And that involved communicating to their teammates as well.
And we see that a lot with quarterbacks, Jackie, too. And they're talking about, Sanders is a quarterback. Coming out. He's a great decision maker.
They're in Colorado.
Yeah.
Deion's son.
Yeah, Shador. And he, there's more qualities than just arm strength or just how far you can throw the football. It's the mental makeup. It's how you relate to others, how you get others to play better, make them better. And are you a good leader? Are you someone that's going to follow? Like you've seen some of these great teams, the way they clap and their expression, it's contagious to their teammates. And they love it. They love to share in that kind of,
even more so at the college level, right? I mean, they really
at every level.
There.
At every level, Michael. I think it really works, and that's why you see Patrick Mahomes do so well. You see Joe Burrow. You see, Josh Allen. All these guys are great catalysts for their team.
And another team you may not know about, and maybe none of you have heard about it, and when we come back, I'll tell a little story that maybe these guys forgot about too. Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater, On Point Live, brought to you by HarmonyCheese.com. Did you guys watch the game with some Harmony cheese sitting right there?
Yeah.
And by the way, Vince has a winery, am I right?
Crackers. Oh, yeah.
Little Clarissa J.
We do a little red wine. Yeah, we're right now.
Super Tuscan blend with Sangiovese. What did you have, Jackie? Were you
Abergelli.
Abergelli,
Yes.
one of your all-time faves?
Ritz crackers and Abergelli. That's all I need.
Email us, win yourself some Harmony cheese. Send your name and address to onpoint@crntalk.com. Again, that is our email address, onpoint@crntalk.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm Michael Hort, along with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. And I promised you a story here. We were talking about great coaches and what makes a great coach. And these guys are too humble and, they're just the people that give of themselves all the time. I'm talking about Jackie Slater and Vince Ferragamo. And apparently in our coaching highlighter that we came out, we emailed a bunch of you fans and listeners of the show as to who your favorite players are. And oddly enough, at the bottom of that list, it was the bottom, but there were some votes for Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. And the story is, I think in junior high school, 8th grade, something of that nature, these two gentlemen gave of their time at no salary, may I say, they took no salary, to actually coach some kids in school. And it was quite the thing when some of the other dads who were coaches for their team came up to go against the Big Ten and said, well, who's coaching this squad? And there, of course, was the famed Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. Pretty awe-inspiring for your competition, gentlemen. How'd you go? What was your record that year when you were coaching?
We won the national. We won the championship.
They're shy. You see how shy they are? They won the championship.
But that's the only bottom line, right?
Kids,
but our
man.
kids enjoy. The kids had fun doing it.
We had fun.
And I think the thing about youth sports is that you have to be impressionistic to young kids, and they have to enjoy the sport they're playing. And if you're a coach that can duplicate that, or at least bring that to their attention, and that they will enjoy playing that sport, then that's all that matters. And, so many kids get fragmented or they get disillusioned because maybe they're not doing so well. But you have to make them enjoy the game and make them enjoy that sport, and you have to teach them how to become more successful.
And then you also, one of the biggest things that I think happened with me and I saw happen with my son, and I believe that I tried to instill with any young player that I was working with, was I wanted them to understand how coaches communicate. I've seen people take their kids and run away from coaches that screamed and yelled and hollered and all of that. And that happens. That is a big part of sports. Basketball, football, track and field, whatever you're doing, coaches are going to yell. They have to speak with a lot of volume in their voices so that people can hear them.
And you're so soft-spoken. I know it took a while for you to just charge it up a
No,
little
it
bit.
didn't take me very long. But I had to introduce this to young people so that as they grew older and as the games became more serious and people's jobs began to be on the line, that they would view this as a part of the game, that they would understand that this is not impersonal. He is not taking it out on me. I am not the only one that's messing up here. He is trying to make a point. And that is a big, big factor for young people playing sports because, let's face it, the older they get, the more likely it is that their coaches are going to be paid to hold on to their jobs by winning games. And sometimes
You guys are champions.
And when coaches confront each other, Mike, too.
When you would
players
talk to,
are listening.
You talk to
And
those
so-
dads on
Oh, yeah,
the
no. He and I had our run-ins, but
you did have
we
run-ins?
were playing a team. They'd
Yeah.
score on their first play. He was coaching defense. And
Yeah.
then the next time they got the ball, he'd score on the first play again.
Yeah.
And I turned to him and I said, "Hey, Jack, can you slow these guys down a little bit?" And we kind of interacted, but the kids got a kick out of it. And guess what? We come back and we won the game.
There's
So,
that
I mean, it's-
classic picture in the Hall of Fame for the junior coaches, and the one with Jackie there, you with that Cecil B. DeMille horn of yours. Places, everybody! That was very good. But you guys did actually coach the kids, and that's a pretty good thing that you.
It was fun.
Thought about it.
And we
Yeah,
learned from,
fantastic. We had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of great coaches to learn from. I played in high school football for my brother. He never used a foul language. I played for Tom Osborne at the University of Nebraska.
Osborne,
Never used a
famous.
foul language. You can get your point across. You can yell and scream, but you don't use foul language. And I tell you what, the kids are more receptive.
How about on the Rams? You played for a bunch of coaches. You guys.
Well, that was a little different.
Any of those with foul language?
Yes, quite a few actually.
That's at the
It
professional
It
level.
seems like
If you
foul
get that
language
far,
was a
you can go whatever you
prerequisite
want.
to,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
most of the coaches
That
we
Frank
had.
Corral kick when it started to veer off to the side, I think
what
I
in the
heard
world?
something going on there. What in the world? All right, so let's talk NBA because there might be some help on coaches. What's the deal, by the way? They're firing coaches before the playoffs are over with here. What is going on here? Did we get what Denver was it, Corey?
Mike Malone.
Yeah, Malone. That was
Got
kind of
fired.
That's kind of surprising.
Right in the
actually.
middle
And I
of the
like
playoffs.
the Nuggets.
Just
I
a
like
couple
them.
of years ago, this
Jokic.
guy won a championship.
Yeah.
He's coaching arguably the best, and I resent this comment, the best player on the planet. You know how
You
they-
hate that, don't
I
you?
don't like that because how do you classify?
There's
how
too
do you
many great
quantify
ones.
that? It's too many great players. But in the basketball community, they seem to enjoy saying that he's the best player in the world. Well, arguably, Jokic is the best player in the world right now with Denver, and suddenly his coach is being fired. They won a championship a couple of years ago, and I don't understand it. Vince was trying to tell me some things that possibly were going on with relative to the leadership of the team, and maybe Jokic not liking him or something. I can't deal. It's hard for me to deal with all this stuff when I think about how purists as professionals are centralized and focused on their jobs and what they need to do to help the team win. The coaching stuff, you can't handle that. You do what they ask you to do, get the game plan, and then try to go and execute it. So
It's a different time right now. It seems like in the old days, the coach had to make the team win, and he the owner would come down and say, "See you later." Now it's the players. If they don't like you as the coach, you're gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mutual respect for each other. I mean, you have to believe in your players. Players have to believe in the coach, and they have to buy into your system. And I thought Mike Malone was doing a great job. I mean, as Jackie said, Denver Nuggets have been at the top of their game for the last 3 or 4 years. And a lot of it has to do with the way that he's brought the team along. But now there's been some kind of disagreements. You see there's a little not animosity, but frustration building. And I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't
I don't think they've had all their players in the lineup.
Healthy all the time.
They haven't had everybody in the lineup. And so, they're struggling a little bit and down the stretch. And so, but this is not the time to fire a coach. I mean, this coach means too much of the team. I don't care. You can straighten your disagreements out. Get into the playoffs.
You would think.
I mean, there's 1 week left of the season.
Someone said in our production meeting earlier that they thought that there was a problem between arguably the best player in the world, their center there, 2 or 3 time MVP, and the head coach. And obviously, you're gonna, if you're gonna pay somebody, you're gonna pay that player a whole lot more money than that coach is going to be making. And if that is in fact the case, then you can understand if someone's got to go, it certainly isn't going to be, the best player in the world.
Coaching styles have changed because the coach now has to almost get the players under their own wing, kind of as a family. You look at a Dave Roberts on the Dodgers. He's very sincere about knowing each player, what their strengths, weaknesses are, their families. He knows all that, and he connects it with them that way. In the old days, it was just a guy saying, hey, get out there, and what's wrong with you? Why can't you pick up that ground ball, and you're going to take extra batting practice, and I want to see you field every one. Those days seem to be gone now.
His personality has a lot to do with it, Mike,
Yes.
because, when he talks to players, players understand where he's coming from. Tommy Lasorda was the same way. He can relate to players.
But he was a little more
he can
gruff.
He can motivate you by maybe a funny gesture,
Yes.
by a comment he might make. Dave Roberts is just a great guy to talk to.
Yeah,
he's soothing. He's refreshing.
He is.
He'll make
really
you forget your past and look forward to the future.
Yeah,
okay, I'm going to go out and do better next time, and that's what it takes to be a good,
but
good coach.
I
But there's
can
always
see-
disagreements.
I can see there's always disagreements, but one of the things that I can see, Vance, over the couple of decades that I played pro football, as the salaries start going up and the guys start getting paid, and in particular as the guarantees to their contracts begin to be more prevalent, those guys begin to be a little bit more confident. They begin to be a little bit less respectful of authority, especially authority that was making less money than them.
Yeah.
And so that might be the case that we're looking at here. Who knows what's going on in Denver, but I guarantee you one thing, some of the best players that they have on the Denver Nuggets, they are going no place because the fans identify with them and their performance, which is high-level performances and consistent. The fans that want to see that from their players, they're not going to side with a coach as opposed to one
And
of
no
those
matter
players.
what sports, you got to make it a family. You got to make it a unit. You got to be all playing together. In the NBA right now, I kind of like the Lakers. Oklahoma's good. Minnesota,
Clippers are good.
Celtics in the East. Maybe the
Cavaliers.
Knicks. Huh? What do you think?
When
Cleveland?
we start
NBA.
talking,
What's your top 5?
Well, my top 5 right now, I'm going to go. I like the Lakers, Oklahoma with SGA,
All right.
and I like Minnesota.
In the West. How about the East?
In the West.
Okay, the East.
In the East, it's hard not to like the Celtics, the Knickerbockers, and Cleveland.
Okay, I
Those
like
are
the
my
Cavs.
three. Those are my top
I like
three.
Boston. Maybe Boston will win it all.
Yep.
But in the West, I like the Thunder. The Warriors are coming on, and they got Jimmy Playoff
like the
Butler. And don't
Warriors.
forget now the
Yeah,
Warriors.
They do.
And I like the Clippers.
Yeah, I see. What about the
I like
Lakers?
the Clippers. The Clippers are playing lights out now.
All right.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they had
they
to.
are on
They
a
had
winning
to
streak.
turn
They
it up.
got
I
Kawhi
agree.
Leonard. They got
To me, that is the big question. Injury to Kawhi Leonard.
he's going to be all right.
Kawhi Leonard has had his share of injuries. I don't know what all they are, but I do know this. Injuries will take their toll on even the best of us. And if he is unable to go because of some injury, a reoccurring problem, he had several issues, then the Clippers are dead.
They won't lose at the Intuit Dome. Mark my words. All right?
you don't
Right
think
there.
so?
No, they will not.
Well, I like Lakers, Oklahoma, Minnesota in the West. I like Cleveland, the Celtics, and the Knicks maybe in the East. I think the Clippers could be good. You should ask our producer, Corey Marino. He had the 24th or 25th best bracket, was it,
He
Corey?
did. He
That
did.
you had?
Oh, he's the man.
Yeah. You're off mic there, but just punch that down. There you go. There
He
you
had
got
them
it.
both, he said.
Yeah. Who was it? Yeah, you had he had all the greats there in the deal, but unfortunately he picked Houston for the final game to win. Otherwise, he might have been the
Well, he
winner
had
of the
that
ultimate
one.
brackets,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, before the Houston game, I was 23rd in the nation out of 24 million.
Going up.
Whoa.
And I would have been top 5 in the nation if Houston didn't choke it at the end.
It's our producer.
Wow. How about that, huh?
Why don't we all sit there
knows
and
his
press
stuff.
the buttons,
He
and
knows his stuff.
he can sit up here next week for basketball.
right.
All right,
Absolutely.
we got to take a quick break. This show is flying by here today. OnPointLive.net, our website. Email us. HarmonyCheese.com is our website for our sponsor. And get some Harmony Cheese. Go to our site and email us with your name and address so we can possibly select your name as a winner of a Harmony Cheese pack and Vince Ferragamo wine. Go email onpoint@crntalk.com. Onpoint@crntalk.com. On Point Live continues. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater, the heart and soul of On Point Live. And gentlemen, we've been talking about coaching styles and stuff. And Kevin O'Connell, you were talking about him all year long, Vince Ferragamo, loving him with the Minnesota Vikings, and he's back there again this year, and got a new quarterback. Huh?
Yeah, Sam Darnold is dissatisfied that he's left now, but he's in a different place. He's in Seattle.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kevin O'Connell has been a whisperer, quarterback whisperer.
So when we talk about
quarterbacks.
coaching style, we've been talking about different types of styles, and some in the NBA basketball, coaches getting fired right in the heart of the playoffs right now. We have our Corey Marino, our producer, has pulled a clip of Kevin O'Connell when he was telling a story on his coaching. This was prior to Minnesota or during it, but this is nothing of current time. But it's to give you an idea of his coaching style. Let's roll that tape and see Kevin O'Connell.
Talk about Alex Smith and his injury. I was his quarterback coach at the time for that injury and stood about 20 yards away from when that happened. And then the journey he went on, I can remember going to visit him, get done coaching. It's 11 o'clock at night. And they tell me, hey, Alex has been having a tough time sleeping. So I get in my car and drive to the hospital to spend a couple hours with him before going back to the facility to go back to work the next day. And I can remember, this is bigger than football. This is about people and just how much he meant to me and how much I meant to him. You never take for granted in this profession. And it's a nice reminder this time of year when you are hearing mostly about free agency and the draft and contracts and salaries and all that stuff's important. But there's another element to this that I think we all can attest to that have been in that locker room or in these meeting rooms before that does matter.
Yeah, it does matter, and that's a coaching style that I like. This guy cares about his players.
Absolutely. And that is never there's never going to be a situation where a coach who cares about his players is not valued by the players and by the people who hired that particular coach. Now, I personally have had the opportunity to meet Kevin and talk with him over the years. I know my son is a good friend of his. They were drafted at the Patriots the same season and everything. And Kevin O'Connell, I remember years and years would go by, and this particular agency would hire him to come in and work with all of the quarterbacks. He worked with Jared Goff. He worked, the list goes on and on and on. He truly is, as Vince says, he truly is a quarterback whisperer. Now, that's all technical stuff. That's all football stuff. The thing that gets people's ear is the fact that he's a human being. He's a guy that likes people. He's a guy that appreciates individuals, and that's just simply who he is to begin with. And from there, once people know you have their best interests at heart, then it's easier for them to follow. It's easier for them to learn from you and to tell you about their weaknesses and their strengths as they perceive them. So Kevin O'Connell, my hat's off to him. I think we're going to be looking at a lot of success in Minnesota because of his leadership.
Jackie Slater, everybody. Vince Ferragamo, your thoughts?
I'm telling you, he's a class guy, and not only because Matthew Slater knew him and was good friends with him, because I know the way Matthew goes about his business, but to go beyond the call of your duty as a coach, to go visit a player in the hospital, to go see him when he's not doing well, when he needs help, when he needs support, you're there to back him up. That says a lot more than just the guy's ability to coach on the field.
Absolutely.
And what does that mean? What's the reflection on your team and the other players that are around you? They're going to just show that much more respect for that guy.
Absolutely.
And they're going to listen to you more intently. They're going to follow your leadership because they want to be like you.
Vince, you know the interesting thing about that is as simple as you just explained that. As simple as you just explained that. Look at all the coaches that we've been around that did not understand that. I mean, we had a handful. I can think of a handful of guys that you and I both played for that understood that caring about the individual first and foremost was the most important part about coaching. But what about all the guys that didn't understand that? We viewed those guys as, hey, man, when are they going to get a new guy? Because this guy ain't getting it done, whether he was or not from a football standpoint.
Yeah, Paul Lanham was one of the best coaches. Jackie,
I remember
think
Paul.
had
I
when
remember.
we went to the Super Bowl that year. He never played a down of football, but he was caring. He was very thorough, authentic in his approach, and always out-prepared, your opponent. And that's what was reflected on me as a quarterback, and I wanted to duplicate what his efforts were to make me a better player. I wanted to do that on the field for him.
Absolutely.
Makes you better with the team. It's that whole family unit. And look at you guys on the Rams. You've stayed friends. You've stayed together. Those teams that you had together, Fred Dreyer, part of that. You guys are all have the camaraderie to stick around. And I think it comes from the glue that the coach puts into it. At the White House, when the Dodgers were there, and Dave Roberts caught the President Trump, say what you will about him. He's a great politician, and he's really a sincere guy when he connects with people, and he knew enough about each of the Dodger players that after he talked about the World Series, he came in and said, Kike Hernandez did this, Mookie Betts fastest guy around, I'm not fast, I couldn't make it, he does there, and he was Dave Roberts, he called the best manager in baseball, and Dave and he made eye contact. I thought Dave was going to get a secretary of coaching department or something.
Well, Jackie, don't you believe that the greatest coaches that win championships are the ones that give the most to their team and the team respect,
service-oriented.
and also the love of one another, Jackie, that's imparted by coaching and players beyond. And you can see that. You could see that with the Boston Celtics.
Right.
You saw that with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Right.
With Dave, and you see it with with any team that goes all the way
at any level. Watching pro college basketball, women and men.
Right.
Now watching pro basketball and pro football as it comes up. You notice how these guys, the great players on these teams, consistently talk about how they love one another. Now, what kind of love is that?
It's a unit.
It's a love that appreciates them so much that they don't want to let them down when they do their jobs.
Very good
My
point.
job is to do this, and I know you're working at getting your job done. I'm not going to let you down because I'm going to get mine done.
You love your teammates.
You do.
And you do anything for them, and that's what makes the championship.
And you want to
team.
perform as a unit. In baseball, it's pass the baton. The next guy up gets that hit. Dave Roberts didn't have to like Donald Trump because in the last series against Houston, when the Astros were banging the trash cans, Dave went out and took Rich Hill out, and Trump had one of his comments. I saw the manager came out there and took the guy out. They always do that, and then all heck broke loose. Well, then in the last World Series, Dave Roberts goes out there and talks to, I think it was Blake Trinan, and he says, hey, Blake, are you going to be able to get this guy? Can you get him out? And Blake said, yes, I can, and he gave him the ball and let him do it. That's trust in your players.
The heck with analytics.
Analytics, forget it. Throw it
And
out
no
the
trash
window.
cans were being pounded on either, by the way. All right, let's talk about the Tush push. You,
Oh,
Jackie,
boy.
that some of the teams and the players don't like. By the way, your thoughts out there on anything we talk about, email us onpoint@crntalk.com. Onpoint@crntalk.com. Let's open the doors here to the Tush push.
Well,
Jackie.
let me get going on this right away. I can't. Mr. Murphy, who is the guy that's running the Green Bay Packers, Mark Murphy. We competed against him, Vince. Great guy, smart guy, done a fantastic job of player acquisition and everything involved in running a professional football team. But I disagree with him 100%. I do not believe that you should do away with the tush push. Why? Because every team in the National Football League has the opportunity to go and duplicate that. Everybody can do it. Now, this is what I would like to see. I would like to see the development of the defense that stops the tush push. Why deprive the fans the opportunity to see the development of the best defensive one-yard defense in all of pro football? It's going to eventually happen. Regardless of what anybody says, someone's going to eventually figure out a way to stop it. Why deprive the fans the opportunity to say, hey, I remember when they couldn't stop that tush push, but they can stop it now with this.
Yeah.
Let's
Vince?
wait on the
Vince
name of the
Ferragamo?
new defense.
Well, I have to talk to the viewers back home. Please email us or send us your response on whether you
I'm
like or you
curious about
dislike
that.
the tush push, because, we want to engage with the players and see what the fans think as
Yeah.
well. But
I'm curious about the
I'm in
fans'
disagreement
feeling.
with Jackie. So you can either vote for Vince or Jackie. But, I think the tush push is so automatic that it takes the guesswork away. And to me, I've always been a believer in the innovative, the strategy part of the game. I saw, the coach, I forget his name right now, that coached the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl win. Jackie, they were in a full house backfield. Okay, instead of running the quarterback sneak, they did a sweep. They got the first down. Now, I'm not opposed to the quarterback sneak. I think it's a play in the football that should stay in the playbooks. But I'm opposed with someone pushing the back of the quarterback to gain the extra yard. And, whether it's an injury problem or not, I don't know about that. But all I can tell you is that if you have the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who can squat 600 pounds in the best offensive line, the biggest, strongest offensive line, you don't need someone pushing from behind to get 1 yard. And if the defense is trying to find a way to defend it, then throw a pass.
Yeah.
Audible at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you got to keep it a surprise element. That's the exciting part about football.
But Vince, don't you like
I don't want to see a rugby.
Jackie
I know,
Slater,
but
here
you
we
like
go.
innovation. You of all people,
Yeah.
you like innovation. Can't you just see a defensive cultivating a formula to stop the tush push, and then going from another step, offensive saying, "Hey, we get in tush push formation, and we do this or that or the other," and then you got a whole different segment evolving.
Yes, it could lead to other plays.
A whole different segment.
I think it
evolving.
could.
It would
but-
expand our game. It would expand our game. And those people who are the loudest about seeing this play remain in the National Football League are the main people who don't
Defend
have
it.
the vision enough to figure out how to stop it.
But some of the teams that have the bigger quarterback can do more with the tush push than if they got a toothpick back there as a quarterback. The guy could get injured. So I could see where there might be some thoughts about it. It's kind of an automatic thing. But I also can see the fact that if you have a defense against the tush push, I mean, you got to see, what if you got a refrigerator Perry standing in front of you right there when you got to push through him? It's like, how do you build some building blocks
And
to get
just
that
about
going?
every team has a guy as big as refrigerator.
Yeah,
Perry.
I mean, yeah, you can.
Two or
But
three
you
of
could
them,
still do
actually.
the quarterback sneak in a regular formation. I mean, you can get down in the trenches and just get the sneak if you want. You can jump over the pile if you feel like you can make the 1 yard or less.
I personally, I can just see it happening. I can just see someone coming up with a unique style to stop the tush push, forcing tush pushers to go to alternative plays.
Other special teams, when they think you're going to do the tush push, you call in your player. You got Jack Reacher. He comes in, that guy, and the other guy in Series 3 that's even taller than him. You put those two guys there, knock yourself out with
Jack
the tush push,
Reacher.
okay? Yeah.
Well, Doug Peterson is the coach I was thinking about, who did the the full house backfield. But you could, there's a myriad of things you can do, to abate the tush push.
Torpedo bats, your thoughts on that? Now, here's something that any team can have, because the rule in baseball is as long as the bat's so long and this, you can mold it any way you want. Jackie Slater, I'm sure you have a point
first of
on
all,
this.
let me preface my comments with
Okay,
this fact.
preface
I
away.
never played a down of baseball. I never played the sport. Okay,
only got a
but
couple of
this is
minutes
what
left
I
here.
understand.
Go ahead.
This
Yeah.
is what I understand.
Yeah.
Every player is being coached by a hitting coach on every Major League Baseball team in every division. Okay, these people, all of these batters, have personal tendencies based on the way they're built, based on the way their strength is situated in their upper bodies and lower bodies. Everybody is different. Now, I understand the torpedo bat is built to complement for the lack of superiority in any particular area of your swing. Why not? Why
Vince, you
not
got
take
about
that?
30 seconds to
Why
rebut
not do
that. What do you think?
You know what? If it's going to help someone at the batter's box, go ahead and do it. I don't mind it. I mean, but we're seeing so many home runs today. Anyway, they don't really need a torpedo bat to hit a home run these days.
Just bring
These
in that
guys are
guy,
big
But
enough.
they're
Jack
getting more home
Reacher, and
runs.
his other guy, and let them be pinch hitter. But you're
What's
right.
Shohei Ohtani think? I mean,
Yeah.
does he use a torpedo
They
bat?
ordered
He
some
doesn't use it.
torpedo bats for the Dodgers. I think Matt
Maybe he'll
Muncy
hit
tried them
100
out. We'll
home
see.
runs in a year then.
All right, we got to take our final break here. What a show. This thing is rolling by here today. Don't forget to email us your thoughts on point at crntalk.com. Again, that's onpoint at crntalk.com. Check out our great advertiser, harmonycheese.com. They bring you this show. harmonycheese.com. Final thoughts, the final segment coming up. It's On Point Live. Don't forget, every week at this time, check out our show. It's On Point Live. We'll be back. We're back with On Point Live. All right, I'm a hockey fanatic. I love the Los Angeles Kings, and I love Wayne Gretzky, and now I like Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Caps. This is amazing. What do you got? 800, and to tie the record, 894 goals. Now he's got 895. Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo, your thoughts?
My thoughts? When I look at ice hockey and I see how difficult it is, I said to myself, there's never going to be anyone to break
Gretzky's record. Yeah,
There's
right?
it's just not going to happen. He was just too good, too fast, too clever, taking advantage of every opportunity that you possibly could have to score. And I just thought to myself, this is just never going to happen. Well, look at what happens. The
Vince?
guy-
Well, Gretzky went to a couple teams, and he did this thing throughout his career. But Ovechkin was like with the same team and drafted in a lottery pick. What
Yeah.
a great acquisition that was
physical,
back in 2004.
different style too, different style
styles.
altogether.
Yeah, Ovechkin was
And
like
here's the deal.
physical, tough.
They both scored goal 894 on the same amount of days that they
Same
played
amount
them.
of
Same amount of games.
How about that? Huh?
Unfreaking
Two
believable.
different styles, totally different styles. Now, I shouldn't be surprised at all because when I retired, I played 259 games. That was the most games an offensive lineman had played in the history of the National Football League. It seems like I wasn't retired for 2 years before Bruce Matthews down in Houston came and broke that record. So records are meant to be broken, guys, and so let's just celebrate Ovechkin right now because that is a unique record that he just
And
broke.
Ovechkin now wins the Harmony Cheese Trophy. That's the one that we give out for you.
That's right, he
Not a
does.
hat trick.
Congratulations, Alex.
Send it
Good
right
job,
on
buddy.
down to
Harmony
him.
Cheese Trophy. Order your Harmony Cheese and celebrate with Alex and go to harmonycheese.com. Again, harmonycheese.com, our great sponsor. Boy, this show flew by and we've got more topics that we're going to have to hold over to next week, I'll tell you on the show. So don't forget to email us onpoint at crntalk.com, onpoint at crntalk.com. Check out our website, onpointlive.net. Follow us on Instagram, on.point.live, and check out our podcast wherever podcasts are available and on YouTube with Vince, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. What a show, guys. You did such a great job.
It really was. We've got this NFL draft coming up quickly,
Gonna be
and
great.
it's going to be here around the corner.
How about that? We're going to be right in the middle of that draft.
You know
man.
what
We're
I
going
always-
back to Green Bay.
That's what I
And
said.
Jackie,
Yeah, so
you know what we're all, Mike, you know what we're all going to say, though?
What?
We're all going to say,
Stay on point.